Welcome to this week's edition of the Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald Talking Newspaper Podcast, recorded from the newspaper published on Wednesday the 15th of April 2026. This podcast has been read and recorded by volunteers for Bishopbriggs-based charity, Q and Review Recording Service.
Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald for Wednesday, April the 15th, 2026. SEPA's flood risk concerns by Julie Curry, reporter. The Scottish Environment Protection Agency has filed a holding objection on the new Lenzie Academy site application. SEPA wrote to East Dunbartonshire Council on April the 1st amid concerns the flood risk assessment submitted by the Council's consultants Kaya did not provide enough information to assess the potential flood impact of building a new school at Whitegates Park. SEPA said the report was unclear whether a flood risk originated from surface water, river flooding or both. It was also concerned about the lack of data on rainfall patterns and drainage, with SEPA requesting new hydraulic modelling to understand how water will flow and accumulate during heavy rain. Given climate change and the fact flood risks increase over time, SEPA said this was not adequately addressed in the assessment. Although a holding objection enables the Council to provide further information, if it does not provide more details, SEPA has asked the local authority to treat its letter as a full objection. Anne Davey, the Council's Chief Executive, said, "The planning application is still under active consideration. As is standard procedure, the Planning Service will consider all consultee responses as part of the assessment process of the application and will work with the applicant and consultees to address any concerns raised." The news has been welcomed by Save Whitegates Park campaigners, who are now asking readers to make their views known by April the 30th. There are already 213 submissions.
This week in history. April 19, 1956. Prince Rainier III of Monaco married actress Grace Kelly. On this day last year, Israeli strikes in Gaza killed more than 90 people in 48 hours, Gaza's health ministry said. April 20th, 1972. Apollo 16 landed on the moon. On this day last year, the King and Queen were joined by the Duke of York at their traditional Easter Sunday service at Windsor Castle. April 21st, 1945. Ivor Novello's Perchance to Dream opened at the London Hippodrome with his now classic song We'll Gather Lilacs. The show ran to 1,022 performances. On this day last year, Pope Francis died at the age of 88, a senior Vatican official announced. April 22nd, 1915. Germany first used poison gas at Ypres as a chemical weapon. On this day last year, Elon Musk said he will dedicate more time to Tesla after the company were reported a big drop in first quarter profit. April 23rd, 1968. The first decimal coins appeared in Britain. They were the 5p and 10p pieces, which replaced the old 1 shilling and 2 shilling coins. That was This Week in History, read by Ian.
Protect Our Play Parks, a report by Julie Curry. Just a month after being installed, a newly upgraded play park in Bishopbriggs has been targeted by vandals. A concerned reader brought the mindless damage to the Herald's attention. A former police officer with 31 years' service, the man was dismayed to see the vandalism. He said, "As a local resident, I've walked my dog through the woods behind Asda for many years. A play park is located at the entrance of the woods, accessed from Park Avenue at Bishopbriggs Community Church on Stanley Avenue. The play park underwent a much-needed renovation last month. The results were excellent and it looked great. Sadly, this only lasted for 2 weeks. When I walked my dog past the play park at the end of March, I observed graffiti on the new soft compound surface and on some of the equipment, along with a smashed bottle and rubbish piled up. As a recently retired police officer, I've dealt with antisocial behaviour at various points in my career. However, this is soul-destroying. What type of mentality do these morons have to do this to a children's play park? Is nothing immune to the Ned culture that seems to pervade modern society. Having already reported the damage to the police, the Council's Roads and Neighbourhood Services Executive Officer, Thomas McManaman, this week called on parents and the wider community to help protect local play areas. He said, "Play parks are fun and important places for children and families, and we know just how much our residents enjoy visiting them." In recent years, however, some play parks in East Dunbartonshire have been the focus of significant levels of vandalism. In the last few months, we've experienced several incidents at Peel Park in Kirkintilloch and at parks in Bishopbriggs, including Springfield Play Area and Bishopbriggs Play Area. Our newest facility at Stanley Drive, which the council installed only a month ago, has also been severely vandalised. These incidents have been reported to Police Scotland. Hundreds of thousands of pounds have been spent in recent years to upgrade high-value play facilities for children and families to enjoy in our communities, and we're currently installing several new play areas. Please help us protect these facilities. We would encourage anyone with any information about vandalism of our play areas to contact Police Scotland on 101. In recent months, officers have carried out a coordinated programme of both plainclothes and high visibility patrols in Bishopbriggs. Chief Inspector Liam Harman said, "This has included targeted patrols in local parks, cycle patrol deployment, unmarked traffic operations, and joint working with the Council's antisocial behaviour wardens. As part of this approach, officers have engaged directly with young people, supported by our school liaison officers, to promote early intervention and positive engagement. Enforcement activity has included regular alcohol seizures. Specialist resources have also been utilised, including mounted branch deployments to provide a visible presence. This coordinated response was implemented following community complaints highlighting concerns around disorder." That report was written by Julie Curry and read by me, Nikki.
Force to be reckoned with on a new fleet of e-bikes. This article is unattributed. Residents in East Dunbartonshire will soon see their local community policing teams out and about on two wheels. The team will be getting on their electric bicycles to enhance visibility, increase mobility, and improve engagement with the public. The new fleet of e-bikes will allow officers to cover larger areas more efficiently, reaching locations that are difficult for traditional patrol vehicles to access. From parks and pathways to residential estates and town centres, officers will now be able to navigate a wider range of environments quickly and quietly. Chief Inspector Liam Harman said, "My team and I are committed to listening to residents and businesses and where they would like us to be more visible. Our focus just now is on building safer communities. I'd like to encourage people to stop for a chat if they spot officers out on the new bikes, share any concerns, or simply say hello." The enhanced mobility offered by the e-bikes will support officers in tackling concerns such as youth disorder, antisocial behaviour, and hotspots that have previously been challenging to monitor regularly. Officers will also be able to respond more swiftly to emerging issues and engage more directly with young people, families, and local businesses. The community policing team hopes the introduction of the e-bikes will encourage more positive interactions with the public and help build on existing partnerships which are already working well across East Dunbartonshire. That article was unattributed and it was read by Jahan.
Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald for Wednesday, April the 15th, 2026. A neighbourly effort to help families with pets by Julie Curry, reporter. Aldi is encouraging shoppers in East Dunbartonshire to donate pet food at its in-store community donation points this April to mark National Pet Month. With 86% of pet owners saying the cost of owning a pet has increased, local charities continue to see demand for support, including help with everyday essentials such as pet food. The supermarket is asking readers to support their local community by donating essential items in stores. Donations will be distributed to local charities and community groups through the supermarket's long-standing partnership with Neighbourly. Since partnering with Neighbourly in 2019, Aldi has donated the equivalent of more than 50 million meals to good causes across the UK, helping ensure surplus food reaches those who need it most while reducing food waste. Luke Emery, Aldi UK National Sustainability Director, said, "Pets are part of the family, but the cost of living conversation rarely acknowledges them. In reality, increasing costs are putting extra pressures on the whole household budget, including essentials like pet food. By making it simple for customers to donate in-store via our existing partnership with Neighbourly, we hope to help families continue to care for their much-loved pets." Steve Butterworth, Neighbourly Chief Executive Officer, said, "Demand for support remains high for all daily household essentials. Aldi's continued commitment, alongside the generosity of its customers, plays a vital role in supporting local charities and the communities they serve." Donation points are available in stores nationwide throughout the year, making it easy for customers to lend a hand whenever they shop. Supporting its communities is a core part of Aldi's approach. After a successful pilot across 3 regional distribution centres, the supermarket will provide a further 1.2 million meals to families in need this year through its partnership with the Bread and Butter Thing as it rolls out nationwide. It also works with company Shop Group to redistribute surplus stock from its regional distribution centres, ensuring products which can't be sold in stores are still put to good use.
Shot in the arm for businesses. Scottish Conservative and Unionist candidate for Strathkelvin and Bearsden, Dr Pam Gosal, is backing plans that would see council car parking charges for stays of up to 2 hours abolished. The pledge, which would be accompanied by funding for local authorities to deliver the initiative, is included in the Scottish Conservative Manifesto in the party's bid to revive high streets and town centres. Pam said, "Shops are shutting their doors at an alarming rate and businesses are being strangled by red tape, on top of being hammered by the business rates revaluation scheme that came into force on April 1. She believes providing 2 hours free parking would be a major shot in the arm for local businesses. Pam said that, working with the Bearsden Traders Association, she helped to put a stop to the introduction of parking charges at the Glebe Street car park in the town. She added, shops, bars and restaurants in Strathkelvin and Bearsden and the wider East Dunbartonshire area are shutting their doors at an alarming rate. Our policy to scrap parking charges for stays of 2 hours would be a real shot in the arm for businesses by luring customers back to town centres. We managed to stop proposed parking charges at the Glebe Street car park in Bearsden, but this is just the beginning. The Scottish Conservatives are the only party with a credible plan to generate economic growth and deliver proper support in towns in the Strathkelvin and Bearsden area.
Man's trafficking charge. This article is unattributed. A man has been arrested and charged in connection with an ongoing operation to tackle retail crime. This operation forms part of Operation Dinos, with officers gathering information over the last few months. Following inquiries, officers believe that vulnerable young people are being targeted to steal alcohol from stores across the west of Scotland. On Friday, April 10th, officers arrested and charged a 42-year-old man in connection with human trafficking and exploitation offences. He was due to appear at Glasgow Sheriff Court on Monday, April 13th. Constable Sharon McDermott said, "We remain committed to tackling retail crime while at the same time safeguarding young people from harm and coercion into criminal behaviour. We continue to gather evidence and utilise all resources at our disposal to tackle this type of crime." That article was unattributed.
Schools' cost is mounting. This article was written by Julie Curry. News that SEPA has submitted a holding objection to the new Lindsay Academy site has been welcomed by campaigners fighting the plans. Members of Save Whitegates Park have argued against the chosen site since it was first selected by council planners. A report by the council's planning service in March 2021 branded the park unviable for development. The March 2021 ASN site options appraisal concluded the site was not deliverable after ground investigations found toxic, contaminated soil and 4.8 meter deep peat. However, council officers told elected members in September 2022 that Whitegates was the cheapest and quickest option. The project's estimated cost has since risen from £85 million to £138 million. Ronnie Somerville of Save Whitegates Park said, "In recent years, there have been 3 tandem-build school projects locally. Beauclair Academy was successfully rebuilt using the tandem-build process. The old school stayed open while the new one was built on the existing playing fields. Adjusted for inflation, that build cost around £49 million. Replacing Lindsay Academy on its current site using the same method would cost around £54 million. A tandem build was good enough for Bear's Den. Why isn't it good enough for Lindsay? The council has stated the existing site is too small to house the new school for a roll of around 1,400 pupils. However, campaigners believe there is a solution." Ronnie said, "The current school site, which is home to 1,350 pupils, is only too small because the council insists on accepting hundreds of placing requests from outside East Dunbartonshire. If the school were sized appropriately for pupils who live in the council area, the current site would be more than adequate." As well as writing to Audit Scotland to raise their concerns, campaigners have now also written to SEPA. Ronnie said, "We flagged up some technical stuff in relation to the flooding that wasn't covered in SEPA's holding objection. The council has also told us it has not yet engaged with its insurer to check the insurability of a school on a floodplain. Aviva has publicly called for a presumption against new developments in high-risk flood zones. If the insurance industry is warning us not to build on floodplains, why is the council gambling our money? By forcing this project onto a toxic floodplain, the council will be paying more than double the cost per pupil of Beauclair." Given the volume of documents related to the planning application on the council's portal, it has extended the statutory 21 days for submissions, giving locals until April 30th to have their say. Ronnie added, "We've estimated that every household in East Dunbartonshire will have to fork out £2,500 over the space of 25 years to cover its cost. Whether you live in Lindsay, Kirkintilloch, Mulgai, or anywhere else in the council area, this is your money. We urge all residents in East Dunbartonshire to object to this planning application and demand the council rebuild Lindsay Academy on its current site." This article was written by Julie Curry and read by Erin.
Getting all geared up for Event of the Year, a report by Julie Curry. Held each April, Bishopbriggs Triathlon is a staple in the multi-sport calendar. Organised by Glasgow Triathlon Club In December last year, it was named Scotland's Event of the Year at the Triathlon Scotland Awards. The local triathlon features a range of events suitable for all ages and abilities. A sprint event, it includes a 750-metre pool swim, a 20-kilometre closed road cycle, and a 5-kilometre run along the Forth and Clyde Canal towpath. Novice and youth events offer shorter distances of a 400-metre swim, 10-kilometre cycle and 3-kilometre run, while tri-star categories cater to participants as young as 11. The closed road cycling route through the countryside and scenic canal path run consistently praised by participants. This praise also impressed the award judges, who said Bishopbriggs Triathlon shines as a welcoming, beginner-friendly event with a safe course and supportive atmosphere. Its inclusive approach, enthusiastic volunteers, and commitment to removing barriers make it a standard community race and this year's Event of the Year. Now the organisers are once again gearing up to stage this year's triathlon on Sunday, April 26. A GTC spokesman said, "The event is ideal for new triathletes as well as seasoned competitors. This year, it has been chosen by Triathlon Scotland as a selection race for the Inter-Regional Championships, IRC, for TriStar 2, ages 11 to 12, and TriStar 3, age 13 to 14. Visit https://www.triathlonscotland.org/clubs/youth-IRC/ for further information. TriStar cyclists will also notice a change to the route. The spokesman added, "To avoid the chance of cyclists meeting bin lorries which need to access the recycling centre, we have reduced the length of the bike lap. Cyclists will now make the 180-degree turn at the far end of the course before the recycling centre, reducing the lap to 3.6 kilometres. TriStar 2 competitors will complete one lap, while TriStar 3 competitors will complete 2. Please note, Balmuldy Road between Stirling Drive and East Dunbartonshire Council, Glasgow City Council boundary will be closed from 10 a.m. to 3:45 p.m. Visit www.facebook.com/Bishopbriggs Triathlon. That report was written by Julie Curry.
Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald for Wednesday, April the 15th, 2026. Drama at Theatre. It's hard to beat a night of live theatre, and readers are being invited to experience an amazing production right here on their doorstep. The Kirkintilloch players will be performing The Straw Chair by Sue Glover at the town's Turret Theatre at 9 East Side from May the 5th to the 9th. Described as a gripping emotional drama, it is set in the 18th century on St Kilda and based on a true story. It tells the tale of a woman rejected by her unfaithful husband and cast away to the remote island. However, the arrival of the minister and his young bride changes lives forever. Founded in 1923, the Kirkintilloch Players is one of Scotland's oldest amateur drama clubs, and members always pull out all the stops to entertain audiences. To book tickets, visit www.ticketsource.com/Kirkintilloch Players.
Knights Get Rights Gold by Julie Curry. Staff and pupils at Steps Primary School are celebrating after being awarded gold status by UNICEF UK's Rights Respecting School programme. The award is granted to schools that show commitment to promoting and realising children's rights and encouraging adults, children and young people to respect the rights of others in school. Head teacher Jennifer Gardner said, I am so proud the school has received the Gold Award from UNICEF UK. Led by our Rights Knights, children's rights are embedded across the school community and have become the lived experience of the children. They are at the core of our school ethos. The children demonstrate excellent knowledge of rights and can explain why they are important and relevant to their lives. Our pupils' voices are valued highly, and they all have a secure sense of social justice. I would like to thank our Rights Knights and all our pupils and staff for their hard work and dedication in achieving this award. I would also like to thank our parent body for supporting us. I would especially like to thank Miss Laura Davidson, our RRSA coordinator, for her tireless work in supporting the children and the whole school community in achieving this award. She really has gone above and beyond. The school's pupils were equally delighted to receive the award. One said, "I have loved being a Rights Knight and helping with our road safety and Quest to Get More Green campaigns. It has taught me so much about how important our voices are in making changes in the community. The work for the award makes all of us feel safe and listened to, and has improved everyone's knowledge of rights. I really want to be a Rights Knight again next year. I have lots of ideas for new campaigns." UNICEF UK works with schools to transform education through children's rights, giving young people the best possible chance to grow up empowered, inspired, and ready to make a difference in the world. The Rights Respecting Schools Award does this by placing children's rights at the heart of school policy. Visit unicef.org.uk/rights-respecting-schools to find out more. That article was written by Julie Curry.
Club hitting the headlines again. A report by Julie Curry. Hayston Golf Club is celebrating its centenary year in 2026 and is hosting an opening day on Saturday to celebrate. The club reached the major milestone of 100 years old on January 14, and the committee have planned a series of events to toast its special birthday. Centenary captain Jim Smart said, "The event on Saturday will begin with club captain Brian Taylor driving off the first tee shot. We'll then be running a 9-hole team event starting at the 10th hole and finishing at the 18th. After the competition is finished, we'll have a ceremonial raising of our centenary flag, followed by a raffle and auction for fundraising." Jim contacted some of the 400 or so courses designed by Hayston's own designer, James Braid, to secure prizes, and 24 balls will be included in the raffle. Among items going under the hammer in the auction will be 7 prestigious 4 balls, which golfers will undoubtedly be battling over. Jim said, "We managed to secure a 4 balls prize from Gleneagles and Royal Dornoch. It can cost £1,600 for 4 balls in the summer at Gleneagles, so I'm hoping the auction will go down well and raise some funds to cover the centenary event." All funds raised are being ploughed back into covering the costs of the anniversary celebrations, which have included buying the centenary flag, as well as flags for each of the holes and 600 metal bag tags, which are being presented to the club's more than 500 members. Funds have also been used to purchase trophies for Saturday's Open, which is free to enter for members, with a free roll in the clubhouse afterwards. From June 6 to 14, Hayston will also host a festival of golf, with the final event for the Heritage Shield seeing its players taking on their counterparts from Mother Club, Kirkintilloch Golf Club. There will be a number of events that week, starting with an open competition for the Alan Marshall Memorial Trophy, said Jim. There's an open event for all players On the Tuesday and on the Wednesday, the ladies will be competing in a 9-hole competition, followed by afternoon tea. The week will culminate on June 14, when we'll celebrate our history and friendship with Kirkintilloch Golf Club, with our players taking on their counterparts for the Heritage Shield, a one-off competition in which the winner will get to keep the prize. The centenary year will come to a close in November with a dinner dance for members at the club, during which a book currently being compiled by Jim will also be available for purchase. "I'm busy researching the book just now," said Jim. "It will contain a comprehensive history of the club, along with information and images for our centenary year celebrations." Hayston Golf Club was founded in 1926 amid controversy that split the town of Kirkintilloch and its community because of the demon drink. In 1921, after a poll of the 12,000 population, it was decreed that all pubs in Kirkintilloch be closed and that the town, which had 14 pubs and 15 churches, should become dry. The news did not please Kirkintilloch Golf Club members who liked visiting a hostelry after their exertions on the course. As a result, an extraordinary general meeting was called to vote on plans for a new clubhouse and an application for a liquor licence. The motion was narrowly defeated, and the disaffected members promptly agreed to form a breakaway club on leased land only a stone's throw away, but just over the county line in the not-so-dry at the time Stirlingshire. Hayston Golf Club formed on January 6, 1926, with the constitution being drawn up on January 29. On April 7, 1926, the club held its opening day. The licence was granted on May 9, 1927. Licensee Tom Pate was also the club master, the equivalent of today's secretary, and a lifelong friend of James Braid. As a result, James, ironically a non-drinker, was asked to design the course, returning on many occasions to fine-tune his original design. He refused to submit a bill on the grounds that it was a personal favour. However, Tom and the members finally forced James to accept £5 for his services. May 25, 1927 marked the club's inauguration day with an official opening by Sir Ian Colquhoun of Luss. More controversy was stirred up by the club the following year when members voted to play golf on a Sunday. Jim added this was viewed as sacrilege at the time and mentioned in sermons of the local clergy. It also featured in 3 editions of the Herald in 1928, June 21, June 27 and July 4. Kirkintilloch remained a dry town until a referendum in 1968, long after the Hayston scandal, to allow play on Sundays. The pulpits may have been rocking at the brimstone smouldering, but the club survived and has gone on to prosper for 100 years. Last visited by the great man himself in 1946, the 72-acre braid course is better than ever thanks to modern greenkeeping techniques and the strategic planting of 25,000 trees. That report was written by Julie Curry.
Choir and Ensemble Join Forces for Men Matter by Julie Curry. One of Scotland's leading charities has been singing the praises of Kirkintilloch Male Voice Choir and Kirkintilloch Brass Band Ensemble. It follows a packed concert in St Mary's Parish Church on Saturday, March 28th, in aid of Men Matter Scotland, a charity which supports men with mental health challenges. The charity helps men from all walks of life who face mental health challenges, as well as military veterans and those who work in the emergency services, police, fire and ambulance. The concert brought KMVC and Kirkintilloch Brass Band Ensemble together for an outstanding night of choral and instrumental music. Both the choir and the ensemble were on top form, and the programme received a rapturous and enthusiastic response from the audience. Callum MacDonald, KMVC president, said, "I feel very proud right now. It was a great concert, with a fantastic audience who helped us raise funds for an incredible cause." Sally McLennan, the choir's musical director, praised the performers. She said, "I couldn't have asked for more from the men. They've worked so hard over the winter to perfect the programme. Their hard work was rewarded by the response they received at the concert." Singing with the brass band ensemble was an excellent experience, and the audience clearly enjoyed it. We'd all be delighted if we had another joint concert, sooner rather than later. The concert raised £1,000 for Men Matter Scotland to support the invaluable work it does. A spokesman said, "Some members of staff attended the concert and they found it inspiring and encouraging. We are so grateful for the support of Kirkintilloch Male Voice Choir and Kirkintilloch Brass Band Ensemble." After the concert, choir members, their wives and friends retired to a local hotel for one of their renowned afterglow sing-alongs, which, we're reliably informed, lasted well into the night. Based in Glasgow, Men Matter Scotland has 4,000 members, almost 26,000 Facebook followers, and 24,000 men crossed the door in 2025. The next time KMVC will be in action is at Kirkintilloch Gala Day on June the 6th. That article was written by Julie Curry.
Airport Design Partners for Terminals Revamp, a report by Julie Curry. AGS Airports has appointed its partners for the next stage of its £350 million AGS Reimagined Transformation Programme. It marks a significant step forward in delivering the firm's long-term project and vision to create modern, sustainable and passenger-centred airports in Glasgow and Southampton. Following a competitive procurement process, WSP and Pascal plus Watson Architects will lead design for the transformation of Glasgow Airport, while WSP has been selected as the lead development designer for Southampton. The design phase will shape the future layout, flow and passenger experience at both airports, ensuring they meet the growing needs of customers, airline partners and their regions. For Glasgow, WSP and Pascal plus Watson Architects will jointly lead the terminal design transformation, central investment priority within the group's £350 million capital programme. Cam Jandu, AGS Airports Chief Executive, said, "These appointments represent an important milestone in the delivery of AGS Reimagined. WSP and Pascal plus Watson bring world-class capability and deep experience of designing modern airport environments, and their expertise will help us create facilities that are more intuitive, efficient and enjoyable for our passengers. With our £350 million investment now being put to work, we're moving at pace to deliver transformational change across our airports. This is a major step in shaping the next chapter of Glasgow and Southampton, ensuring they are future ready and reflective of their regions." The programme will include a modernisation of the main terminal at Glasgow Airport, improve airfield's infrastructure and accelerate AGS's ambition to achieve net zero direct emissions by 2035. Mark Wolfe, WSP Aviation Sector Lead, said, "Drawing on our multidisciplinary design, building services and systems expertise and collaborating closely with Pascal plus Watson, we'll create intuitive, resilient terminals that improve passenger flow and experience while supporting low-carbon goals. With our teams embedded locally, we're excited to help shape facilities that authentically reflect and serve their regions. That report was read by Julie Curry.
The Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald, date Wednesday the 15th of April 2026. Opinion. Let's talk. The letters page. Please send your letters via email to kirkyherald@jnscotland.co.uk. That's KIRKYHERALD@JNScotland.co.uk. Please write letters in the subject field. Please keep letters to a maximum of 300 words. Letters cannot be published without a name and postal address. Also include a daytime phone number if possible. We reserve the right to edit any letter. Election indifference. Sir, I can't be the only one filled with indifference at the prospect of the Scottish parliamentary election, to the extent that, for the first time in my enfranchised life, I'm seriously considering not voting. Whatever the outcome politically, it's hard to put aside the worry that everything is just going to continue to get worse, despite whatever initiatives and strategies are broadcast, to give an impression of the contrary. I came across a quote from John Knox the other day, somewhat tendentious, but opposite to that expectation. The same justice remaineth in God to punish thee, Scotland, that I before punished the land of Judah. I think he had a point. Our political representatives and their antics have been part of the punishment. Yours, etc., R.A. Wallace, by email. Feral children. Sir, once upon a time children were well behaved at home and at school. Now teachers have been sworn at, spat at and physically attacked. What has gone wrong? Too many parents think their little darlings can do no wrong, and object to teachers trying to control and discipline their children who are disrupting the class and seriously affecting the education of others. Unfortunately, head teachers are unable to throw out the undisciplined rabble since the education authorities refuse. No wonder teachers are leaving or taking early retirement. There is a solution, but will our politicians and councillors have the backbone to do it? Parents of unruly children should be warned that if their child does not behave during school time, then that child will be expelled. There is an even better solution. Taxpayers provide child benefit of £1,354.60 a year for the first child and £897 a year for each additional child. This is payable to parents for children under 16 or up to 20 if they are in full-time education. Stop this payment and just watch the child's behaviour miraculously improve. Yours, etc., Clark Cross, by email. Energy market reform. Sir, despite claims from some quarters, it is well established that increasing domestic gas production will not reduce UK energy prices, as electricity prices are set by the international gas market price. To address this, we need to decouple electricity prices from gas prices. In the 1970s, the transition from coal to gas was provided a useful precedent, with long-term gas purchase agreements between British Gas and North Sea field operators, guaranteeing supplies to power stations at contracted prices. The oil from the fields continued to be traded on the open market, giving producers an upside, while purchase agreements reduced the purchasers' exposure to volatile gas prices, making it affordable and giving producers investment certainty. Today, GB Energy could act as the purchaser, buying gas at agreed contract prices and selling it on to generators. A similar process works very successfully through the Contracts for Difference mechanism for wind farms, guaranteeing a minimum return and thereby removing market volatility. As we decarbonise our energy system through increased electrification from renewables, Taking the electricity price to the volatile price of gas is an archaic and damaging practice that should be scrapped. Yours, etc., Alex R. Please explain. Sir, would someone more intelligent than myself care to tell me the end difference between multi-methods of voting and straightforward first-past-the-post when it comes to who has a seat? And indeed how long it would take to create a coalition government and who occupies which post? The theory and practice of the multi-method of selection is an admirable intent, but really, the end result is not much different from first-past-the-post. The latter is not to everyone's liking, but it does provide for clear leadership. In countries with multi-party elections, agreeing a coalition government can be strenuous, and it only takes the departure of one or two parties for it to collapse. Yours, etc., Charles Lowson, by email. Don't panic. Sir, if drivers kept their vehicles constantly topped up with fuel, this would ease the need to elsewhere and also eliminate reported panic buying. In my experience, people drive about with little in reserve, and so filling stations soon have to close or ration fuel. Yours, etc., Malcolm Parkin, by email. That was this week's letters page, read by Ian McKenna. Cancer is silent. Simple tests could save your life. Report by Julie Curry. Over a third of people eligible for bowel cancer screening in Scotland don't complete their test. The data was revealed by Bowel Cancer UK at the start of April, which is Bowel Cancer Awareness Month. It was sourced from screening data across NHS boards, which oversee local health services, from May 2022 to April 2024. Shetland NHS board had the highest screening uptake, 74%, while Greater Glasgow and Clyde NHS board had the lowest at 61%, and Lanarkshire the second lowest at 62.9%. Scots were third in line for screening, 65.7%, behind England, 71%, and Northern Ireland, 67.3%, but ahead of Wales, 65.5%. NHS Scotland has made great strides in bowel cancer screening uptake, especially since the fecal immunochemical test, FIT, was introduced as its primary screening tool in 2017. It was the first country in the UK to screen at a threshold of 80 micrograms of blood per gram of poo, which England and Wales have since adopted. Genevieve Edwards, Bowel Cancer UK Chief Executive, said, "While there's been great work to date when it comes to people taking part in bowel cancer screening, these figures show that there's still room to improve uptake even further. Bowel cancer is Scotland's third most common cancer. Screening is one of the best ways to spot the disease early or remove polyps that might develop into cancer. The earlier bowel cancer is found, the more treatable it's likely to be, with more than 9 in 10 people surviving the disease when diagnosed at the early stage. This Bowel Cancer Awareness Month, we want everyone who receives their free bowel cancer screening test to complete and return it as soon as possible." Kenny McIntosh was diagnosed with stage 4 bowel cancer in August 2020, aged 54. In 2019, he received a screening test in the post which he didn't complete. He didn't have symptoms, but was diagnosed when anomalies were detected in a blood test. He had an operation followed by chemotherapy and finished treatment in December 2020. In September 2025, he was fully discharged and is now doing well. "I now promote that all my family, friends and people over 50 carry out their screening tests every time they are required to," Kenny said. "Cancer is silent. Don't overlook any ailment or ill feeling. Get it checked out." A photographer from Glasgow, Colin Mearns' screening sample led to the early discovery of bowel cancer. Like thousands of Scots, he received a bowel screening test through the post. Everyone aged 50 to 74 is invited to take part every 2 years, and the test takes just a couple of minutes to complete and return. For calling, Those few minutes were life-changing. His cancer was found early. He was able to have surgery at the Queen Elizabeth University Hospital to remove the affected part of his bowel, and he is now cancer-free. I had no idea anything was wrong, said Colin. If I hadn't done the test and sent it back quickly, my cancer might not have been picked up until much later. Hearing the word cancer was frightening, but knowing it had been caught early made all the difference. Because of that early diagnosis and treatment, I can now look forward to the future. Readers are being urged to be aware of the symptoms and seek advice as soon as possible if they notice changes. Bowel cancer can affect anyone, no matter their age, gender or ethnicity. Symptoms can include bleeding from your bottom, blood in your poo, changes in bowel habits such as going more or less often, or having diarrhea or constipation that comes and goes, unexplained weight loss, feeling very tired all the time, or pain or a lump in your tummy. Having these symptoms does not always mean you have bowel cancer, but it is still important to find out what is causing them. Not everyone will have all the symptoms, and they may appear at different times. Even if you only have one symptom, visit your GP. Dr. Alison Potts, NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde Bowel Screening Lead, said early action saved lives. We know that talking about poo or bowel habits can feel embarrassing, but GPs are used to having these conversations every day, she said. If you've noticed any changes or symptoms that can concern you, please make an appointment with your GP as soon as you can. When bowel cancer is detected early, it is highly treatable and, in the vast majority of cases, curable. The earlier it is diagnosed, the more straightforward treatment is likely to be. Alison also stressed that people should not wait for their next screening test invitation if they have symptoms. She said, your GP may ask you to complete an at-home test to help decide whether further checks are needed. Acting early gives everyone the best possible chance of an early diagnosis. Public Health Scotland data shows that around 2/3 of people who are sent a bowel screening test complete and return it. People like Colin showed just how powerful this simple test can be, added Alison. Even if you've put it off before, taking a few minutes to complete it when it arrives could save your life. Scotland is disproportionately affected by bowel cancer, also known as colorectal cancer, with around 4,000 people diagnosed each year and 1,700 Scots dying from the disease annually. For more information on screening, visit www.bowelcanceruk.org.uk or call the Scottish Bowel Screening Centre on 0800 0121 833. That report was written by Julie Curry and read by Ian McKenna.
Good morning, it's Philip here from Q and Review, reading the church news from the Kirkintilloch Herald. And first of all, we're going to Milton-a-Campsie Church. They did a beautiful day for the prayer walk on Monday, Thursday, and they visited various places around the area of Milton-a-Campsie. But we also want to advertise or promote their Tuesday morning 9:30 Cafe Connect. Yes, Cathy Connect it's called, on Wednesday at 7 p.m, time to pray. Our April charity is Silver Birch Scotland, a non-profit charity and social enterprise who provide work-focused training opportunities to adults with learning difficulties, mainly through the provision of social and therapeutic horticulture. They also run a small social enterprise garden centre in Milton-a-Campsie, producing and selling gardening products like compost and plants. To support its work, all takings are reinvested back into the organisations. And now to Torrance Parish Church. The morning service will be conducted by the minister, Stuart Evan, at 10:30. During the service, the youngsters meet together in Crest Junior Church and other partner organisations within the church. If you want to find out more, get all the W's, torranceparishchurch.online.church. The cafe is open every Wednesday 9 till 12 noon for teas, coffees and delicious home baking. Why not come and taste for yourself? To find out about regular weekly activities, check out the website for the What's On at www.tpc.org.uk. And now, where are we going to now? We're going to Kirkintilloch Church of God, which is in Regent Hall, Regent Street. And Sunday there will be a good news service at 4 p.m. The programme includes praise led by a praise band, video clips and a Bible message from Tony Smith. A warm welcome to everyone who is able to join us. On Wednesday, Coffee Corner meets as well, is open from 12 noon till 2 p.m. Join our friends and neighbours for homemaking and coffee. A warm welcome awaits. This Thursday at 11 a.m. we continue our journey through the Bible at the Bible Discussion Group. The topic this week is the coming of the Lord Jesus. For up-to-date and further information on our services, visit our website www.regenthall.org. And they have a text. Jesus said, "The Messiah will suffer and rise from the dead on the third day in repentance for the forgiveness of sins, and will be preached in his name to all nations." Amen to that. And now to St James Church in Hilton Road, Bishopbriggs. On Saturday, April the 18th, Dads and Kids is held from 10:40 to 12 noon. It's a great chance for dads with young children to get together around some banter, bacon rolls and coffee, while the kids play as well. And Sunday, April 19th, there will be a Sunday club at 10:30 a.m. There's a communion service at 11 a.m. on Thursday, April 16th in the chapel, and on Sunday, April 19th in the chapel at 9 a.m. and at 10:30 a.m. in the church with hymns. Everyone is welcome to come along to any of these services. Do stay on for tea and coffee afterwards. And at 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. on Sunday, April 19th, there's a music concert in the church featuring 3 Points West and other musicians. There is an interval with refreshments and entry is free, though donations will be welcome towards the renovations of St James Church. There is also other virtual services and groups. For up-to-date and further information, refer to our social media. Facebook page, which is St James the Less Bishopbriggs. Website www.stjamesbishopbriggs.org.uk. And now to Lenzie Union Parish Church. We will be joining our friends at Lenzie Old Parish Church for Sunday worship on April 19th at 11 a.m. The meeting place opens for tea and coffee as usual every Wednesday 10 till 12 in the new hall. Everyone from the young to the young at heart is welcome to attend. We also have good selection of greetings cards and second-hand books for sale. And the Youth Cafe meets every Thursday, 3:45 to 5 p.m. It's a place where young people can hang out, relax and have a good time after a long day at school. Each week there is a free snack with lots of different things to do, such as games, consoles, table tennis, arts and crafts, etc. And there's also a chance there to complete your homework, which I think is pretty important. And if you wish to join, please join or contact Kim by email youthworker@lupc.org. The coffee pot as well opens on Friday, 10 till 12 as usual in the new hall. St Mary's Parish Church in Kirkintilloch. The service on Sunday, April the 19th will begin at 11 a.m. as usual. There will be age-appropriate activities for our young people in the halls during the service. Wednesday welcome resumes on Wednesday, April the 15th. Tea, coffee and home baking as well, as a warm welcome will be available from 10 a.m. that is, until 11:30 a.m. This will be followed by a short service lasting until noon. On Wednesday, April the 22nd, we'll be holding a special open doors when the church will be open from 10:30 till 3:30 p.m. Tea, coffee, biscuits, etc. will be served there. Beginning at 12:30, we will welcome the wonderful Telemann Woodwind Quartet. Wow. Who entertain us with a lunchtime concert. Come and listen to this talented quartet while you eat your lunch. Tea and coffee will continue to be provided during the service. Lenzie Old Parish Church, Sunday worship on April 19th is at 11 a.m. led by George Kelly. A crèche is available for children under 3. All are welcome. The Quilt and Craft Group meet every Wednesday 10 till 12 noon in the session room. Thursday afternoon club is on Thursday, April 23rd from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Enjoy tea, coffee and home baking, followed by a game of Scrabble, dominoes, etc. Or if you want to sit back and relax and chat and do some knitting. The Scottish Country Dancing is on every Thursday, 7:15 till 9:30 p.m. Come along for fun, fitness and friendship. You'll be made very welcome. And now to Home Church in Lammermuir Road. There are various 6 other locations across central Scotland, but we'll just stick to the one in Kirkintilloch, a church for all ages. And there's various new locations opening up elsewhere. And the angel said to the woman at the tomb, "Do not be surprised. You are looking for Jesus, the Nazarene, who was crucified. He isn't here. He's been raised from the dead." And that's from Mark chapter 16. Home Hub in Kirkintilloch Main Street is open for tea and coffee 10 till 4 p.m, Monday, Tuesday and Friday. Worship services 9:30 a.m. and at 11:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. Morning worship services are followed by refreshments. A warm welcome awaits you all at all the services, also children's churches at the same times as the services. And then on Monday, 7:30 p.m, fitness class. It's free. Then 7:30 p.m, also advanced guitar lessons. Then Tuesday, 9:30 a.m, heartbeat service, worship and teaching. Wednesday, 7:30 p.m, home groups, various locations across the area. 7 a.m. on Thursday there's a prayer meeting at the Hub. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. drop into Recovery Cafe at the Hub. 7 p.m. Home Young Adults United at Strathclyde University. 8 p.m. Football Friday and Youth Fellowship 7:30 p.m. Prayer meeting 7:30 p.m. Home radio is available 24/7. See Facebook, Instagram and Home Church website for more information. And now we're going to Springfield Cambridge Church, Springfield Parish Church they call themselves now, on Sunday, April the 19th. Morning worship will be conducted by Mr. Ewan Gibb in the sanctuary at 11 a.m. The Sunday school will also meet in room 2. An offering will be taken during the service. Please place your offerings in the offering plates as they are passed around the congregation. Morning worship is also being live streamed on the Springfield Cambridge Church YouTube channel. A link to this can be found on the Springfield Cambridge Church website. All the W's, springfieldcambridge.org.uk and Facebook page, where up-to-date information about events and church organisations can also be found. Tea, coffee will be available after church in the Cameron Hall. There will be no vestry hour on Wednesday, April the 15th. There will be no short midweek service on Wednesday 15th either. The Anchor Boys are having their coffee morning on Saturday, April the 25th in the Cameron Hall from 10 a.m. till noon. Prices are adults £4, children £1, and will be on sale in the Hall of Fellowship on Sunday, April the 19th. Any donations of home baking will be gratefully received. The Sunday School are having rolls and sausage after church on Sunday, April the 26th in the Cameron Hall, and homemade marmalade will also be on sale. The University of Strathclyde Centre for Lifelong Learning are offering classes in Springfield Cambridge Church. All courses are run between 10 a.m. and 12 noon. And if you're interested, check out the website www.mycltrath.ac.uk to browse and for further information and to book if you care to go along. Well, that's all the church news for this week. Hopefully you're doing well. I had a great weekend last weekend in Edinburgh during the Easter play, performing in the Princes Street Gardens. Although it was raining, we still performed, and there was probably around 200 people watching in the rain. Last year when it was dry, we had 800. But it was a blessed day, and it was very significant that Jesus died and rose again, and we were able to share that with the audience there in Edinburgh. So hopefully you had a good Easter and managed to attend one of the services in one of the churches during the day or at night to the Monday service, etc. So thank you for listening. God bless you. Take care. And if you have any comments or anything you want me to read out here in the church news, then do contact us at Q and Review. God bless you. Have a good week.
Meet lovely Longlegs Lucas. This article is unattributed. Meet Lucas Longlegs, a handsome 2-year-old lurcher with a loving heart. This sweet boy is ready to find a loving home where he can share his playful personality, affectionate nature, and provide plenty of snuggles. Lucas is always up for a bit of fun and absolutely loves to stretch those impressive long legs during zoomies around the garden. He's a clever lad who enjoys learning new tricks, especially when there's a tasty treat involved. Lucas is eager to please and would thrive with someone who enjoys spending time training, playing, and building a strong bond with their dog. Get in touch with the team at Dogs Trust West Calder or pop along to meet them. That article was unattributed.
Wednesday the 15th of April, District News. Kirkintilloch Horticultural Society. Our next meeting is on Thursday, April 16th in Enterprise House from 7:30pm to 9:30pm, and potential new members will be made welcome on the night, or alternatively can find out more about the society by calling Paul Malcolm on 07542 516 108. Seniors Forum. Kirkintilloch and District Seniors Forum. Our long-established forum are looking for new members to join our monthly meetings. The objective of the forum is to assist in improving quality of everyday life for the elderly community, together with social events, guest speakers from NHS, council, local history, and many more. We welcome the over 55s to come along, have a chat, get involved, and meet new people, forming new friendships. We meet in the Park Centre, 45 Kerr Street, Kirkintilloch, G66 1LF, on the last Thursday of every month from 10:30am to 12 noon. Tea, coffee and biscuits served. Friends of Forth and Clyde. Friends of Forth and Clyde meet every day from Friday from 12 noon until 2pm at the Boat Users Block, South Bank Marina, Kirkintilloch. Everyone is welcome to come along and get a free cuppa and some friendly chat. No membership required. Canal Society. Forth and Clyde Canal Society are looking for volunteers to assist with servicing and maintenance of their fleet of vessels, and volunteers to act as crew/stewards. Full training given. Contact operations at forthandclyde.org.uk or call 07498 965 368 for further information. St Columba's Hillhead Church Men's Club. Following another winter of successful Monday night sessions, which saw a number of new members join from both within the church and the wider local community, the club again held its annual dinner and prize-giving night at its Hastings Golf Club this week. The new year saw members, as usual, enthusiastically competing to be champions in respective games, including snooker, table tennis, carpet bowls, pool, darts and dominoes, whilst enjoying tea, good banter and, all importantly, having a laugh. A very warm welcome would await anybody who would like to join this friendly band of brothers when the next winter sessions resume on Monday, October the 5th at 7:30pm in the St Columba's Hillhead Church Halls, Oldell Road, Kirkintilloch. For further information, contact Secretary on 0141 776 5453. Heating allowance. Scots can apply for £300 of heating oil support under a new scheme run by one of the country's leading charities. The Scottish Emergency Heating Oil Scheme is aimed at low-income and vulnerable households facing increased oil and liquid petroleum gas (LPG) heating costs. Applications open with the fund managed by Charity Advice Direct Scotland on behalf of the Scottish Government. Successful applicants will have £300 paid directly to their oil or LPG supplier. The scheme prioritises low-income households in receipt of means-tested to social security benefits and vulnerable people in financial hardship. People on the following benefits should automatically qualify: Universal Credit, Scottish Child Payment, Housing Benefit, Income Support, Income-Based Job Seekers Allowance, Income-Based Employment and Support Allowance, and Pension Credit. Eligible customers who would like to apply for support can visit homeheatingadvice.scot or call 0800 048 7413 or send a form via post. Applicants will need to supply evidence of their eligibility. The scheme will run for up to 6 months and will be kept under review. Those in financial hardship who are at risk of cutting back on heat due to rising costs and who are classed as vulnerable may also qualify for the scheme. Andrew Bartlett, Chief Executive of Advice Direct Scotland, said, "Applications are now open for the new Scottish Emergency Heating Oil Scheme, which provides £300 to eligible Scots struggling to pay the rising cost of oil and LPG heating. This is a targeted fund to help those in need, especially vulnerable households in rural areas." If you would like to highlight your group's meetings, activities or any fundraising events in our district news section, then we would love to hear from you. Please send all details via email to kirkysherald@gnscotland.co.uk. That's KIRKY@GNScotland.co.uk. And that was this week's District News, read by Ian. Sport. Speedway. Ended all square. By our correspondent Phil Lanning. Glasgow Tigers got the new campaign underway with a 45-45 draw at Edinburgh Monarchs on Friday in the BSN series. The Tigers led by 22-20 after the opening 7 heats, which were very close. The highlight was a sublime pass of Justin Sedgman by Chris Harris in Heat 5. However, the home side then appeared to take control of the contest at Armadale with 5 wins in both Heats 8 and 9. A storming finish from the Tigers saw Harris win Heat 12 as a tactical substitute, before Kel Howarth and Harris narrowed the deficit further with a 5-1 Heat in Heat 13. Joel Pedersen took a super quick win in the penultimate race to set up the last Heat decider. Howarth and Harris seemed set to wrap up the win, before Dan Thompson came back to haunt his old club with a last-ditch pass to salvage the draw. Tigers team boss Cammy Brown said, "It's never easy coming to Armadale and even harder for the first meeting of the season, but I'm absolutely delighted to get the draw. It looked like it was going to be a win. However, Chris Harris was pipped in the last corner by Dan Thompson. It's a tricky place and it was just a matter of our new boys settling in. It was job done to get a point and it could be crucial. I felt all the boys acquitted themselves really well. It was hard for Mario, Halso and Kevin, Joel Peterson, to debut at Armadale. Kevin dug in and produced a wonderful win in Heat 14 to keep us in the meeting. I was delighted with the battling qualities of the side. Edinburgh are a very good side this year, and especially at Armadale will be tough to beat. The main thing was to get some laps in and keep in close for the return fixture at Ashfield in May. Tigers host Berwick Bandits on Friday, then travel to Sheffield the next day." That article was written by Phil Lanning. Rob Roy bounced back with a big win over Ardrossan. Kirkintilloch Rob Roy bounced back from a 5-0 defeat to West of Scotland First Division leaders Irvine Meadow with a 4-1 win at home to Ardrossan Winton Rovers. The host opened the scoring after 14 minutes as Greg Burns fired into the top corner. A Scott Jarvie penalty on the hour mark doubled Rob Roy's advantage, before Andrew Gallagher made it 3-0 2 minutes later. Harvey Gilmore pulled one back as keeper Kel Aitken was denied a clean sheet on his 100th appearance. Jimmy McLean wrapped things up 3 minutes from time after he rounded the Rovers keeper. Gallagher told the club's media team, "It was a sore one last week, so it was important to bounce back, and it is a brilliant result. It is always good to score. It is something I've not done enough this season, so hopefully I can get a few more." And that article was unattributed. A new kind of dog day afternoon. A report by Brian Yule. Glasgow City and fresh dog food company Butternut Box hosted a pre-match hospitality event for dogs and their owners. 12 dogs attended the experience ahead of City taking on Hearts Women at Petershill Park prior to the international break. Each had a direct connection to the club, from long-time supporters to dogs belonging to local businesses newly discovering the women's game. As part of the experience, dogs were served fresh meals from Butternut Box, while their owners were served pizzas inspired by the same recipes. These included Beef It Up and Pork This Way, created in partnership with Glasgow-based pizzeria Nonna Said. The shared menu reflected a simple idea that dogs are part of the family, even on match day. The Sky Sports Cup was also in the room, with dogs and their owners invited to take photos with the trophy. The event formed part of an ongoing partnership between Butternut Box and Glasgow City, designed to explore how football can better reflect modern life and the full makeup of its communities. City has built a reputation for doing things differently, both on and off the pitch, and already offers dog season tickets. The introduction of dog-friendly hospitality is a natural extension of a culture that prioritises accessibility, inclusivity and community. Alongside the event, the club and Butternut Box launched the Dog Wall of Fame, a digital campaign celebrating the role dogs play in women's football's fandom. The wall features dogs from across the UK, from City supporters to non-league fans, dogs wearing Arsenal women's shirts, as well as England and Scotland kits, reflecting a growing culture around the women's game. Steph McLaughlin, head of commercial at Glasgow City, said, "Women's football has always done things differently. The community around it feels different, and that increasingly includes dogs." This wasn't just a one-off event, it's a reflection of how people actually live their lives and who they experience football with. If we want to grow the game, we have to build it around real communities, not inherited traditions. That report was written by Brian Newell.
Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald for Wednesday, April the 15th, 2026. Ben defies odds to medal at World Championships by Brian Newell. A teenager who nearly died as a baby has defied the odds by scooping a medal at the World Karate Championships in Japan. Medics prepared Ben Cotter's family for the worst after the then newborn was rushed to neonatal intensive care, where doctors worked urgently to stabilise him. At just 4 weeks old, he was readmitted in a critical condition and had to be intubated and placed on life support. Doctors later diagnosed bronchomalacia, a condition where the airways are abnormally soft and prone to collapse, meaning his breathing could repeatedly stop. This led to multiple life-threatening emergencies throughout Cotter's early childhood. His breathing would stop without warning, and he had to be resuscitated on numerous occasions by medical teams and on occasion by his parents. Cotter suffered several collapsed lungs, leaving him with permanent lung damage, but eventually the Kelvinside Academy pupil pulled through. The 15-year-old was introduced to karate by his dad Nicholas at the age of 4 and now trains at Hokushin Karate Academy in Bishopbriggs. He represented Scotland at the JSKA World Championships in Japan, where he fought off competition from hundreds of fellow Shotokan karateka from around 30 countries to secure bronze in his age group. At the same competition, he was also graded Shodan, first-degree black belt, in front of SKA World Chief Instructor Nagaki Mitsuru Shihan. Despite success, Cotter, who no longer requires regular health monitoring, does not underestimate the gravity of the health situation that might have stood in his way. He said, "There was a point doctors were worried about whether I would survive and whether it would affect things like learning and walking. I felt like I was always wearing a hospital wristband. Even when I started karate, I remember being really tired because my left lung had to do most of the work, but it's just something that's always been part of my life. Competing now and travelling around the world for karate, a sport that's given me so much, is amazing, especially when I think about where I started. Competing in Japan was incredible. The Ehime Prefecture Budokan is completely different to what we're used to here. In the UK, I compete in leisure centres, But there you feel like a gladiator competing in these incredible structures of wood and metal with statues everywhere. There's a real sense of history there, and walking in to compete was an amazing experience. The grandeur of it all, and ending up with a bloody nose mid-fight, didn't faze Cotter, who earned the title of British Kumite champion in London earlier this year. He said, "The grading was actually the day before the World Championships started, so it was quite intense. Once you reach black belt, you start moving through the Dan grades, but the standard gets higher every time. It's really tough. I won my first 2 fights in the individual competition, and then in the third one I got hit in the nose. There was blood everywhere, but you just keep going. I ended up losing that last fight to a Japanese competitor, but being at the World Championships and taking home a bronze medal as a black belt was incredible. Karate has given me so many experiences and taken me around the world, so it's something I'll keep doing for the rest of my life. The next big championships are in Italy next year, and I'm already focused on getting better and pushing further. Winning in London was another proud moment." Cotter, who also plays rugby for West of Scotland and his school, is now planning for a career in medicine with the aim of helping to save unborn babies. He said, "One of the reasons I want to study medicine is because of what happened to me when I was younger. My dream would be to work in something like fetal surgery where doctors can perform operations before a baby is born." Mike McCusker, Cotter's coach at Hokushin Karate Academy, added, "Watching him grow from a determined young boy into the martial artist he is today has been an honour. He first came to train with me as a small boy who was often frail and unwell, and over more than a decade of dedication has turned into an outstanding karateka. Ben never asked for special treatment, and his success is a testament to his perseverance, courage and spirit."
That's the end of this week's podcast. All being well, there will be another podcast next week. If you want to reach out to Q and Review on social media, we are @CUEANDREVIEW